financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is the future. Where am I headed financially? Dun, 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 dun. And with that, good morning, Brian Small.
Good morning, Ken. It's a pleasure to be here, and I want to say that the future is now.
Thank you. Jeffrey Linden, good morning.
Good morning, Ken. Actually, that was then. This is now. And the future is nine.
Jim
Not
Simasco. I
Happy
feel
to
like
be here.
I
Happy
feel like
to
we're
be
watching an 80s movie, Back to the Future.
That's about it.
I'm
Happy
not,
to be here,
I'm
though.
not wearing a vest, and I'm not driving a DeLorean.
All right, so, but you might have a car with a wingtip doors. Doesn't some of the Teslas still have that?
I don't know. I wouldn't drive a Tesla.
Or do they trade that in for space?
My neighbor has one of those EVs, and it's so weird because it makes no sound driving. You don't hear anything, and then only when she's backing up does it make a beep so that you can like not get run
Do
over.
some of them have actually engine sounds that they put in so you have a little hum?
No, you can sometimes hear like a motor whine when the wheel motors are wheel bearing. It's like a very faint, high-pitched thing. It's a frequency that I can no longer hear. So,
Yes.
that has to do with age.
So let me see if I get this correct. Silence is like a bad thing. Quiet.
It is if you're about to get hit by a car
'Cause they
when you're
used to-
walking. Yeah.
They used to be a big thing about how quiet the car was inside. Wasn't that what they'd advertised? You can't hear
Yeah.
a pin drop outside. But now, no.
And now go ride
When
in
you're
a,
inside
go
the
ride
car,
in a
it's
Ford
good.
Bronco. That's the Jeeps. They're so loud inside you can't hear
Is
yourself
this
think.
your opinion, or you're stating this as a fact? And if you're stating it as a fact, and somebody out there in
No,
the
it's my
automotive world
opinion.
doesn't like that and wants to sue, he's not authorized by the show, any of our law firms to make that statement.
They're just
he's
louder.
doing it on his personal basis.
It is my opinion. That they
Maybe
are
we should
louder.
do defamation as a show one.
That'd be cool.
Louder saves lives, like Harley Davidson's. Loud
if-
pipes.
Oh, you can't
save
miss one of
lives.
those babies.
Future show,
Well, that goes
because
to the
it's not
question.
this show.
Right.
Because I actually deal with it a lot, and we've never done a show on it, is I frequently have the problem where the client calls me and his business has been the subject of a bad Google review, and how do you deal with that problem? So the remedy is potentially a threat or lawsuit for defamation against the poster. So we'll just use that as a tease. We'll do a future show on that topic because it's actually a hot topic and a big problem. Okay, now, future, where am I headed financially? I want to start with the 3-point retirement plan. Own your home free and clear, have zero debt, and have some cash in the bank. And two quick items on this. One is, I got an email this week from a viewer in his 50s, extremely complimentary about the show, even says he likes the dialogue and the kidding among us, totally buys in and loves the 3-point retirement plan, and also did estate planning with you guys and appreciated that. And it was just a really, so if you're out there watching, I'm not going to throw your name out there, but I want you to know we appreciated that feedback. It's always nice to hear that. But the fact that he mentioned the 3-point retirement plan was meaningful to me. And I have another story. I have a friend of mine, he's in the insurance business. He watches the show on occasion, and I've done his legal work over the years on business matters. But he told me about, I would say it was about a year ago, I ran into him, and he said, you know, I completely bought in to the 3-point retirement plan like 5 years ago, implemented it, and I got to tell you something, thank you, because I've never been, he's still working, he says, but I've never been happier. And the questions that come up from this is, should everybody do this? And when should you do it? And should you accelerate the payoff of your home? And should you accelerate the payoff of your home if you're sitting on a 3.5% mortgage? And right now, if you're in equities in the stock market, they're doing quite well. I mean, every 3 days there's a little bump down because of a little tariff discussion. But if you look at really from the beginning of this year forward, it may be like this, but it's definitely way up.
So let me come at the answer with a little bit different of an angle. So start looking at when people have houses, people have mortgages, right? What percentage of their gross income is eaten up by the mortgage? So I was talking to a mortgage broker friend of mine yesterday, and he said the average rate now is 32. Between 35 and 40% of the gross income of the parties makes up the mortgage payment. So from that standpoint, if you're using up 40% or 35% of your gross income to pay your mortgage payment and you want to retire, you have to have your house paid off when you retire because your income is going to go dramatically down. Think about...
Only question is, I'm following you 100%, and I don't interrupt, but what I'm saying is, should you accelerate the payment?
Well,
faster?
For that person, the answer is probably yes, if they can figure it out while they have a greater source of income coming in. Because when they retire and their income gets cut by a third or a half, because now let's just take an average auto worker. Now he's going to get his pension and Social Security. That doesn't add up to nearly what they were making working on the line.
But if I'm understanding you, you're focused on, we all agree that at retirement that house has to be paid off. Here's what
the answer is yes. You have to accelerate it because these people have all refinanced their loans to 3.5%. And they got 30 years left on a 30-year mortgage. They got 25 years left right now.
I feel like a prediction happened earlier that's coming
Let's
true.
suppose that if they paid off their mortgage timely, it would be paid off at age 65. And I'm asking after the break, should they still accelerate that payment and get it paid off earlier?
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
So how old should your grandsons be before they can spend their inheritance on their own?
Thanks, Grandma. Yeah, thanks, Grandma. This car's awesome. Thanks, Grandpa. We got 2.
35. You've worked hard your whole life to create a lasting legacy for your heirs. Let Samasco Law help you make the right decisions to protect the ones you love. Samasco Law, protecting what means most, because that's what we do.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we're back. So do you follow?
I do follow. So in that scenario where the house would be paid off at retirement regardless, now you're making a choice. Could your money, are you making more money on your money because you paid off your house early, and then in that period of time when the house is paid off in that last 7 years before retirement, let's just say you paid it off 7 years early now. What is that money going to do for you while you're still working and you can put it away?
Okay, you've done a perfect job of restating the question. Now, what is your opinion and what is the answer?
If you can do it, the answer is yes.
I want to know what you says. Even though it's a 3.5%, because the question was,
the market,
should you pay it off?
Jim, what is the market? What does the market do on average?
The S&P has been a return 10, 11% over the last 50, 60 years.
And what's the average return on real estate on an annualized basis, except for the few years right after the
That's really tough to tell, because when you have real estate, you also have to factor in the carrying costs. You know, the maintenance, the insurance, the taxes.
Yeah, why is the increase in value in real estate even relevant to the question? I think the question is, if you have the money in the S&P at 10% versus 3.5%, that argument goes to continuing the mortgage. I'm going to give you the contrary argument.
That's the opportunity cost. You need a crystal ball to be able to tell.
You need a crystal ball, and you also, and that S&P is always going up, but it's going up and it has dips. But to me, there's another factor. And this is the factor that is not pure economics, it's psychological. I can tell you that if you buy into the idea of becoming debt-free and you get your mortgage paid off, the moment you're debt-free and your mortgage is paid off, I'm saying even no car payments. If you can get to that point and you're still earning income, the rate at which you accumulate wealth and save goes up phenomenally. And all of a sudden you see your savings and your net worth going up very fast in perhaps that last 10 years that you're working before you retire, and it's an opportunity to really build wealth. And it also ties into psychological. If you're still making the mortgage payment and you're still making 2 car payments and you don't have and you've gotten rid of the credit card debt, which we'll talk about later, you're still left with just a marginal amount of excess cash that you can put into savings. But if you can get to the next step where you've gotten rid of the mortgage and you're not making car payments and you got 0 debt, all of a sudden you're saving potentially $4,000-8,000 a month, depending on what your income is. And that has a great impact. And as soon as you get to that point in time, you become so adverse to debt, it's like vomit. Any idea that you get a bill makes you nauseous, you pay it right away, you don't even think about borrowing money at that point. And so, to me, that's part of what happens if you really implement the 3-point retirement plan psychologically, and that weighs towards paying it off even when there's a legitimate argument that says if you have a low interest mortgage and you're taking that excess money and putting it into the market, you're building wealth at a faster rate. There's truth to that. I think it's a balancing act.
The one point, if the house is paid off, I don't think I would ever tell anyone, hey, suck equity out to throw it into the market.
Right.
Even if it was at 3.5%.
Too much risk.
Too much risk.
Right, I agree. Because you go and you tell them to do that, and then the market dips, and then we could still have the Great Recession again. You never know.
Right.
That's the interesting one. Remember the Great Recession? values of our homes right now were probably about 30% of what they are today. And every wizard, Chase Schiller and everyone else, said you're never going to see appreciation in real estate, residential market like you did back in the 90s. Every one of them were wrong. And that's the thing that drives me crazy.
Yeah, right after that, they're saying we're going to have maybe 1 to 2% growth afterwards. And
I go to the Wall.
You had years of 20% growth.
I go to the Wall Street Journal every morning, and or in the afternoon, because it's all online. I pop in, I see those articles that every day there's an article saying we're on the bubble, and we're ready for a 20% correction. And I read it and say, these guys are smart guys. They study this every day. They know a hell of a lot more about the economy and the market than I do, and they're just guessing. They don't know anything. It's crazy the way the whole thing works. But the point that I wanted to make here on the 3-point retirement plan is it's more than just the numbers. It's also a psychological thing that really creates security. And this is what my friend was conveying to me. And I can tell you from my experience, I've felt it the same way. I implemented the 3-point retirement plan was created by a child of parents that were not financially smart. They were like your normal people, just struggling to make a living, fighting to make their mortgage payments, struggling with credit card debt, trying to stay above water, and because of that, always struggling. And when they got to retirement age, they still had a mortgage, or they were out of their mortgage and they were in an apartment paying rent. And my dad had credit card debt and he still had a car payment. And his monthly nut was greater than his Social Security and VA benefit. And that's to not quote our current vice president, that's a bad situation to be in. He likes the S word.
If you hit the 3-point plan, you can retire early too.
Yes.
That's the beauty of it.
And as soon as you say the words, I can retire early, you then enjoy your work more. Because when the day comes that you say to yourself, you know what, I don't have to work, then you work and you enjoy it. When you have to work, it's some form of punishment. I don't know if it is for you guys, but it is for me. We'll take a break. We'll be back.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. I want to announce THAV GROSS has opened a new office downriver in the Horizon Building on Eureka Road. So now we're in Flint, downriver, and also our home office in Bingham Farms. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. You can do it by Zoom conference, in the office, any way that works best for you. Just call 888-235-HELP or go to the website, thavgross.com, to sign up. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business law issues, elder law issues with Pat or Kelsey, disability issues with Jeff Kirschner. Again, sign up at lawandreality.com or thavgross.com or just call 888-235-HELP. Also, if you go to the website, you'll see there's free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by Jeff Linden and myself. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And The Retiree's Guide to Social Security by Pat Simasko. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Simasko Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If your daughter passes away before you, do you want her share to go to her kids, or do you want to go to your new son-in-law?
You didn't have to buy me a Ferrari.
Don't worry, baby. There's plenty more where that came from.
The kids. You've worked hard your whole life to create a lasting legacy for your heirs. Let Simasko Law help you make the right decisions to protect the ones you love. Simasko Law, protecting what means most, because that's what we do.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we talked about the psychology. I mean, the benefit is, if just like you're saying, Jim, if you get there early, you've got all this excess disposable income in cash. You can maximize your 401k contributions. You should be trying to do that anyway. You can be putting money in non-qualified dollars, which is nice so that when you take that money out, it's not taxed.
I'm going to translate this a little bit, though.
But what about credit card debt?
Well, before we get to credit card debt, let me just point out, for the average person who is struggling anyway, if you can get to the point where your house is paid off and you have no debt, that money that you have, even if it's $400, you're talking thousands. What if it's $400 a month that you could put away instead of nothing? Now you've got $4,800 a year that you're putting away, which could turn into, over a 10-year period, $100,000 extra in the bank. It's that little, even that little extra is a big bonus to you when it comes to being retired.
Absolutely. But I just want to make a quick point. If your mortgage payment is $2,500 a month, a modest mortgage payment by today's means, and you're making 2 car payments at $500 a month, which are modest car payments, that's $3,500 a month that if you've paid those things off, you're now able to just throw in the bank and automatically save $44,000 a year, which is going to double every 7 years,
Yep.
which if you do it for 5 years, that's $1 million.
Yeah, and with time value to money, the sooner you can start doing that, the better.
100%.
Absolutely.
But the problem is people are still maintaining too much credit card debt.
Yeah, I mean, even before you get to the discussion of getting rid of the car payments and getting rid of the mortgage, let's talk about the credit card.
Well, credit card.
How bad is credit card debt?
Credit card debt
On
is
a 1 to 10.
10.
Just 10?
Well, out of 1 to 10, it's a 10.
Not 11.
All right, it's at 14. But
Okay.
you know, the fact is
Well,
that
it's actually at 25%.
you're paying an average of 22 to 25% interest on credit cards right now, if you're current, if you're not in default, and then you've got 30 to 35% default late fees or default interest rate. Plus, you've got late charges. If you're struggling, you've got to find a way to get rid of the debt, and it doesn't matter what method you choose. You have to, it is essential. If you can qualify for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy and wipe out that debt, get a fresh start, that is the way you should do it, because it's the least expensive, most effective method to get out of debt. And now you can start focusing on taking the money that you can afford to save and either put it towards paying off your house or put it towards putting money away for your retirement.
Yeah, let me try and visualize it for you. If you like this concept that we're talking about with the 3-point retirement plan. If you're watching, you're saying, that makes sense. I want to do that. Let me put it to you this way. If you have credit card debt, your chances of making the 3-point retirement plan are that good. It's not going to happen. You've got to get rid of the credit card debt first. Gone.
Stop looking.
Then you can start trying to get to the 3-point retirement plan. You can't, if you're paying, you got $50,000 of credit card debt, your minimum monthly payment is
About $1,500.
$1,500 a month, and it's all basically going to interest, because even if you make the payment and you pay a little extra, you end up without any cash at the end of the month, so you end up borrowing it back, and the balance either stays the same or goes up, and you never have any excess cash. You have no excess cash to pay extra on the mortgage. You're stuck with the car payments. You get nowhere. You're pedaling the bike, going nowhere. You're the mouse in the cage, going around and around and around. And you know what? It goes around and around, and you're 40. And it goes around and around when you're 50. And it goes around and around when you're 60. And it goes around and around until you're dead. And you never got through the 3-point retirement plan, and it was all a complete waste of time. And why don't you want to know the biggest reason why people are prevented from doing it? It's because of credit card debt. If I can tell you, there is nothing worse than carrying credit card debt. And what you need to do if you're watching the show is buy into that for yourself. But there's even a more important level. You need to teach your children when they're 4, 5, and 6 years old, at the impressionable age, that credit card debt is the worst thing they could ever get into. And if you teach them that when they're that young, when they're 15 and 16 and they hear the word credit card debt, they have an automatic inherent response of aversion to it. And you'll have done them a favor.
Wow,
And don't
that
spend
was
money
intense.
on stupid things.
Yeah.
Well,
That's where the credit card debt comes from.
it does. It's
Or if you're going to buy
It's
stupid
trying
things,
to-
pay cash for it.
yeah, it's
There you
trying
go.
to get your wants without the ability, or your at the end of the day, or your needs actually sometimes too. But the reality is people are going to continue to get into credit card debt, and they need to have continuous solutions to get out of it. The 3-point retirement plan works for everybody if you focus on it, but getting there through either through Chapter 7 bankruptcy, Chapter 13 bankruptcy, debt resolution, budget management, whatever the tool that you're able to use to get out of debt, today is the day you start, which is why I said at the beginning of the show, the future is now.
And I want to leave you on this point. The 3-point retirement plan that vanished, if you go to see Brian and let him get rid of your credit card debt, he will reassemble the puzzle so that this page is now back and the 3-point retirement plan is real. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.